Hi, my name is Leah-Anne and welcome back to my channel. The last video I did, I talked about giving you a tool during a high stress period, and that tool is singing. Singing is a wonderful tool to help you de-stress during stressful situations or helps to teach something if you're trying to teach your little one something. So you can check out that video on Leah-Anne's tools and tips for parents and children. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about our high stress periods and what it might look like, and also I'm going to talk about giving you tools and rules to turn your stresses into success. So let's dive right into it. So first of all, one of the high stress periods that I have dealt with over the past, whether it was when I was nannying or when I have my kids and they were a little bit younger, is the morning routine, getting off to school and getting off to work, and just that hustle and bustle of that morning can be very stressful because you're thinking of all the things that you need to be successful throughout the day, and you have such a short amount of time to do that in. The other high stress period that I experience is right in the middle of the day, and I mostly experienced that when I was a nanny. So getting the kids, either picking them up from their different curricular activities, whether it's singing lessons or swimming lessons, piano lessons, or soccer practices, and then making sure they have lunch and getting those young ones for their nap. Those were high stress periods for me as well. Now, as the kids got a little bit older and they were in school, the stressful situations was when I came back from work, making sure that I got the kids off to their evening curricular activities, so soccer practice, piano lessons, things like that, making sure that they had a healthy dinner and getting that homework done before the night ended. So that could be definitely a stressful period. Also, one of the other stressful periods that I experienced is when I had young ones, or now as my kids are in their teens, it seems like it's happening all over again, where my kids are getting ready for bed and it's the workload that has to be done and making sure you can juggle getting a good night's sleep and finishing up your homework and making sure that everybody has what they need to be successful for the morning. Also, it could be as when you have young children, it's sleep training and dealing with those types of things, the kids not wanting to go to bed or having to maybe try to put one child down and breastfeed the other one, and that could be really stressful for some parents. So I'm going to give you some helpful tools and rules to turn those stressful situations into successful ones. Now, first of all, I have here a calendar. This was one of my saving grace. I bought this at Walmart. You can buy them, I think, in different stores like Staples and things like that. But it's a peel and stick, and it was a lifesaver for me. It's a dry erase board, and I used to have it really low on the wall, and it doesn't ruin the walls at all, or really low on my fridge. And so this calendar is a tool that I use. But the rule is when you come home from school, you put the things on that calendar. And I started with my kids when they were in junior kindergarten. So when they would come home from school, the rule was that they had to write down what they needed to do the night before. So whether it was a trip, that they had a form for me, whether it was library due date, gym, I have a soccer tournament, whatever it was, we needed to circle that and put it on. Now, junior kindergartens, they don't know how to spell, but they can start counting the numbers, circling it. Maybe you can help them draw a picture or spelling out some words like zoo, trip, things like that. And it gets them really starting to think of organizing themselves. So calendars are great ways. You can start young with doing a calendar, and there's so many helpful tools and learning opportunities when you have kids start putting things on their own calendar. So the rule was they had to start using it themselves by writing down what they needed to remember, and the tool was the calendar. So here's the tool and a rule that really helped with the de-stress of the evening routine. So this is another tool I used. Now, it didn't look like this when they were younger. It just looked like those plastic paper where you just stack it in, and you can just like put the papers in, and we would stack it. We would keep it on our countertop. But as they got older and I got more children, I needed bigger bins. So this is an in bin and an out bin. And how it worked was my kids would come home from school, they would have all their papers And the rule was take out everything out of your backpack that I needed to sign, and they would put it in the in bin. Instead of me cooking dinner and they say, Mom, I have papers for you to sign. Mom, my teacher wanted you to do this. Mom, I have a trip tomorrow. Mom, it's pajama day tomorrow. All these things, they would just put it in my in bin. I could calmly cook dinner without trying to pretend I'm remembering all the things that I have to do. And I could just get to what I needed to get done. And when the evening came and I had some downtime, I could go through my in bin, sign all of my papers, and then put it in my out bin. And then the next rule was, I was responsible to say, kids, the out bin is ready for you. Please put it all away in your backpacks the night before. So before they go to bed, one of the things on their list to do was to pull out everything that belonged to that child and put it in their backpacks. So maybe it's money for their trip, maybe it's forms that have to be signed, maybe it's report cards that have to be signed. Whatever it was, they had to do that the night before, and this was the tool, right? So that was really helpful for me as the girls and my kids got a little bit older. They now started remembering to organize themselves the night before so that they wouldn't be rushed in the morning. The other tool I used, which I talked about a little bit, was a checklist. So many people have these, but what was good about this one that I did is I laminated it, and it was like a dry erase board. So I would put one up in the kitchen and one up in the bedroom and one up in the bathroom. And all it can do is things to do, and then they're done, okay? So it can be any way you want to. You can just make it yourself. You don't have to spend a lot of money, just paper. You can laminate it or not laminate it. If you don't have a laminator, you know what? You can tape it and it's like it's laminated, and then it's a dry erase board. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. And so in the morning, you can write down all the things you have to do before you get downstairs or before you get into the kitchen. It eliminates the stressful situation. So can you just imagine with me getting up in the morning and calling out your kids and saying, come on, come down for breakfast and things like that, and let's go, get your backpack, we have to get ready, did you pack your lunch? So you're doing all the work because you're trying to be that organizer for your kids, you're trying to be that responsible parent for your children, and the weight gets lifted off of them. So a checklist helps put back the responsibility and keeps the kids organized, but it's on them. They're accountable. So with the checklist, they have to make sure that they do all the things that they need to do. So whether it's, their job in the morning is to make their bread, some do their prayers, maybe they have to take a shower, I hope so, brush their teeth, wash their face. Those are the things that maybe are in the bathroom, and making their bed and getting ready are in their bedroom. And I have two separate checklists. They don't travel with them. They stay where they're stationary, in the bathroom and in their bedroom. And so they follow those checklists. As they get older, they can change up those checklists. But when they're younger, as young as junior kindergarten, you can have pictures with simple words for them, so they still can see what they need to do. So don't think just because they're young, they can't read, they can't do a checklist. Of course they can do a checklist. You just make it pictures. So once now you've done all the things, you're dressed, you're showered, you're ready to go, now we're talking about maybe at the kitchen table, all the things I have to do. So maybe you have to feed the dog, maybe prepare or get your stuff ready for your lunches, your breakfast, and things like that. Instead of mom or dad or grandma telling you what to do, you're following a checklist. And that's a really good tool to make sure that your kids are organized and responsible, and the weight gets lifted off of you. The other tool that we use from the time that the girls were young, and we'll start using for my son, is an alarm clock. Alarm clock is a really simple tool. Most people have alarm clocks, but what happens a lot of the time is parents become the alarm clock. So the parents come in and say, wake up, it's time to get ready for school, and then they notice 10 minutes later no one's getting up. Wake up, it's time to get ready for school, turn on the lights, open the curtains, kind of pull off the blanket, come on, it's time for school. So the parents are the alarm clock. So what we had to do is start giving the kids the responsibility of setting their alarm clock the night before and making sure that we test it out. Is it loud enough for them to hear? Try out different alarms, different sounds, whatever it is, and their responsibility is to wake up to that alarm clock. I am not waking up my children. That alarm clock is waking up my children to make sure that they're responsible. So as simple as the rule, set it before the night before, the tool is the alarm clock. So once you start realizing that you can't just have a rule without a helpful tool, that's not going to make you successful. Having rules are great, but you need to give children a tool so that the whole entire rule and tool is implemented successfully. So here we have our morning routine done, but now we have nighttime routines and checklists. So this really helps me prepare for the morning. So the nighttime routine is simple as when my kids get home from school, one of the checklists is, did you put your papers in the in bin? And so that was one of the things that they have to check off. Putting that in the in bin, and then one of the things on their checklist is, did you take out the things from the out bin? So making sure that before they go to bed, they've done that. Also, another thing is doing your homework, maybe checking the calendar to see if it's a gym day, or if it's library day, or maybe it's wear purple day. Those things that will say check the calendar. So you check the calendar and you prepare whatever you need to wear the night before. A helpful tool for parents with children that have high sensitivity needs. So something as simple as maybe their socks or bother them often, or the little girls with the tights, maybe it bothers their toes, or having a sweater and the tag bothers them. So you will know your children and know that there are some children that really have problems with sensitivity. So have them wear and try out their clothes the night before. Put it on, try it out, making sure that it fits, making sure that it's comfortable and nothing is bothering you. Lay it out, and the rule is whatever you picked and tried out, that's what you wear in the morning. So you don't have that problem in the morning of that child feeling like, oh, I put it on, but I don't like how it feels, and I don't like these socks, so we're wasting time in the morning. So picking out and putting on for some children the clothes the night before, trying it on, making sure it still fits, and everyone's satisfied. They might start to this is tedious and this is not fun, but eventually you're going to have children that are going to try things on. I mean, I have a 13-year-old that tries things on the night before because she's practiced it since she was in junior kindergarten to make sure that she feels comfortable in it, so that in the morning she doesn't feel rushed. She already knows what is going to wear, and she feels confident about it. So picking out your stuff the night before and trying it on for some children can really help the stress of the mornings. Now, once you've done all of that, think about things that happen throughout the day, whether it is in the morning, the afternoon, the evening. Try to figure out what is the stress problem, how to eliminate it by giving a proper tool and a rule to turn your stresses into success. I hope that's helpful. Please hit subscribe, hit the bell, and tune in for my next video all about being accountable, responsible, and organized, being a sharp arrow.